All right. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So recording off this session. So good afternoon and welcome to all right. I see a couple of familiar names. Puro initials lang yung nakikita ko. But some are familiar either from my Math 174, 175 classes or my Math 101 last semester. So, just a quick show of hands, sino dito yung mga hindi ko pa naging estudyante? So, ibig sabihin, hindi ko kayo naging estudyante last semester kasi I just came back to UPLB last semester. Anybody who is new to my class? Okay, meron. Okay, at least two persons. Yeah, Harper and sino yung isa? Sheila and baba, pala si Sheila. Almira, Christine, and Harper. Yeah, so ibig sabihin, kailangan ko pala magpakilala and also Sheila nga. So, yeah, I am Neil Jerome McGargan. I am an assistant professor 7 at the math division. I'm a SP. So, way back 2000 something. And professors also in UPLB. Right after graduating from my BS, I started teaching that. And then in 2016, I left UPLB under a study leave to go on to take my doctoral studies. Uh, I recently came back actually last semester from the University of Houston, kung saan ko nakuha yung PhD degree. And I taught Math 155 last semester. Tapos ngayon sa akin ulit binigay both sections ng Math 155. So I specialize in creating mathematical techniques or schemes for the control of acoustic and electromagnetic waves. And dun sa research area ko, napakaraming advanced calculus or real analysis na kailangan gamitin. So yun. Kaya medyo, actually kahit dati, nung 155, hindi ko naisip kung saan or hindi ko alam kung saan pwedeng magamit yung mga pinag-aralan dito. Pero later in life, I realized na these are very important concepts in application areas. Kasi nga, yung mga pinag-aaralan natin, usually hidden na siya dun sa mga application areas. Bago ka makarating dun sa actual technology or actual product, lahat ng real analysis, functional analysis, optimization theory, and most of the math were done in the background. So hindi na natin siya nakikita. But yeah, I really appreciated the training I got from Math 155. And hopefully that's the same level of training that I'll be able to provide you guys for this semester. Okay? So dahil meron pala mga new students dito, are you guys also new to Canvas? Kasi ang gagamitin nating learning management system for the semester is Canvas. So show of hands, sino yung mga hindi pa gaanong ka-familiar sa Canvas? Okay, lahat naman ay medyo familiar na. So, alam ko naman techie kayo guys, so you don't need too much of adjustments with this learning management systems. So, you got the link for today. So, I imagine or I assume that you already access Canvas. So, okay na tayo doon. And I see some students who are still guests to MS Teams. Probably this is the first time you used MS Teams. Unless nung senior high kayo, MS Teams din yung gamit. So, yeah, you can attend the classes even without your MS Teams account kasi sa MS Teams account kailangan yung Outlook at up.edu.ph account, which is the same credentials you use to download Office 365. Nakapackage tong MS Teams sa Office 365. So I strongly suggest you guys to redeem your free access to Office 365 para ma-access nyo rin yung MS Teams fully and kasama na yung mga iba't ibang Microsoft products. So may subscription ng UP, sayang naman kung hindi natin gagamitin. So free download din yan for us. So you use that in order to formally become a member of the MS team for this class. The nice thing about being a member of the MS teams, I'm asked Facebook yung interface, you go to the section X channel. Bawat meeting doon isang thread. Nakalagay yung meeting title, the meeting number, and the date. Tapos yung comments nandun sa baba, parang Facebook thread ng mga comments. And then in one of the comments will appear the recording for the meeting. So the nice thing about that is those members of the MS team need not wait for me to share with you the link, because anytime you can go to MS Teams and then look for the thread for the particular meeting, and then under the comments, you'll see the recording right away. So probably 2 or 3 minutes after the meeting, the recording is already there. So there is an instant playback or play of the recordings. Hindi nyo na ako kailangan antayin mag-post, all right? Pero for the benefit of those who are not yet members, and sometimes it's more convenient to just watch the recordings in YouTube, sinishare ko naman yung YouTube link dun sa Canvas site natin. So kasi lalo na kung naka-mobile data kayo, may mga promos na mas mura yung access to YouTube. At saka meron naman kayong mga YouTube downloader, no? So you can download the video so that you don't have to spend the data if you need to play back these videos. So mas accessible siguro siya. So you have lots of options to access the recordings of the class, which I'll do every meeting in and meeting out. So yung advantages ng, but other than that, I think, tama ba? Can the guest tell me wala pa rin kayong access sa chat box, no? Tama ba? Or meron na? Tinatry ko dating bigyan ng access yung guests sa chat box, but it seems that it is an institutional setting, so I need to request UP to allow that, but I'm not sure if they will allow that. So, tama ba, guests? May access kayo sa chat or wala? So, no options kayo, either reactions or mag-unmute. Grabe guys, sagot naman kayo.
No
Sige,
access.
antayin ko kayong sumagot. Walang mangyayari sa atin. Oh yeah, Jasmine, you're saying something?
No access po, sir, pero pagka po pumasok po ng Teams, pwede pong mag-rename. So yung sa akin po parang natanggal ko po ata yung guest, hindi ko lang po sure. Pero wala po akong access now sa chat box po.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's another disadvantage kasi yeah, from time to time I'll be asking people to recite for tiny bonus points with emphasis on the tiny. Dinadagdag ko na lang siya sa final grade later. So I guess last semester my Math 101 and Math 174 students as well as 155 students got a maximum of 1% sa final grade kung madalas sila nag-recite. Ano? So yun nga lang, tumatanggap ako ng recitation points sa chat box. Kasi yung iba walang microphone or nahihiyang mag-verbalize ang ideas nila. Pero feel free, you are welcome to unmute yourselves and participate in the discussion. All right? So yon, wala rin palang access sa chat box. All right? So kaya nga mag-download na kayo ng Teams. Sayang naman ano. So yeah. All right. So with those technical things out of the way, maybe we can look at the course outline. So basically, the plan for today is I'll go through the course outline. Let's look at the course policies, and then if there's still time, we can start discussing the first chapter of Math 155. In the other section, oh by the way, I'm handling two Math 155 sections. Isang 11:30 to 1. Tapos kayo naman from 2:30 to 4, same days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Kaya nga para medyo deja vu itong gagawin ko ngayon. Replay nung ginawa ko. But may classes ba kayo ng 11:30? Anyone? Does anyone have a class on from 11:30 to 1 TTH? Okay, so meron. So yeah. Isa-suggest ko sana mag-merge na lang tayo. But anyway, okay, so that's fine. I can do it. Medyo awkward nga lang. So, kasi parang replay talaga nung ginawa ko kanina. But please guys, so para mabawasan yung feeling of deja vu. So, I will encourage you guys to participate. Para medyo iba naman yung ma-experience ko ng 2:30 to 4 kesa dun sa 11:30 to 1. All right? So, I hope we try to make it as as interactive as possible. All right, so join kayo sa discussions. All right, so let's look at the course outline. So basically, you already have this in Canvas. So yeah, nasa module 1 yata siya. So kindly check on it. So I'll start sharing my screen. I'll turn my camera off. By the way, alam na to ng mga estudyante ko before. I usually turn off my camera during discussions. Um, some people say it's more effective if they see the instructor's face during the discussions. I don't subscribe to that. I don't know kung ano yung mas okay sa inyo. Mas okay ba sa inyo na bukas yung camera ko or okay lang na naka-off? Okay, kung wala kayong say, so i-turn off ko na lang siya. Kasi usually, nakaano rin ako eh. I'm writing something, so I'll be looking down most of the time whenever annotating. So, yeah, kaya hindi nyo rin makikita while nagdi-discuss unless wala akong sinusulat. So just let me know what your preference is, and if a significant number in the class prefer that I open my camera, then then unless hindi po sabay sa akin yung video and audio, yeah, it's either internet connection from my part or your part. So yeah, yun yung medyo wala tayong magiging solution, ano. But let me see. Try. Are you seeing my annotation on the screen? Medyo delayed din sa laptop ko. Pero anyway, so baka sa internet connection ko. So I'm using a different device for the annotations. But hopefully this will improve through time. So internet connectivity, that's a given. We cannot do so much about that. But let me know if you are having troubles following up. So hopefully hindi saka mas okay na patay yung video para hindi nyo na makikita na hindi siya nagsasabay. And yeah, para mas mababa yung bandwidth requirement. Okay? So yeah, let me know, Tris, if the problems persist throughout the meeting, so we can try to make some adjustments. But no problem is there. It's out of our hands. Right. But I hope you guys can see my screen. All right. So I'm flashing the course guide. So for the second semester, let's quickly round down the contents of this material. Okay, so welcome again to Math 155. Course title is Advanced Calculus. Prerequisites for the class are Math 101 and Math 38. Sino dito yung mga fresh from Math 101? Mga fresh from Math 101. Okay, right? I think I have one. Okay, 2, 3. Yeah, kaya familiar yung mga nila. And I think some of them even ask my advice if it is advisable to take 155, because in the BS Math program, Math 155 is designed to be taken on the first semester of the third year, while for applied math majors, it is recommended that you take it on the second semester of the third year. Well, kaya hindi ko sila ma-advise against taking 155 kasi ang prerequisite lang naman ay Math 101, 30. You are assumed to be prepared to take 155. But Math 155 is one of the core courses. Advanced Calculus, or the Real Analysis course, is one of the core courses in a math curriculum, math or applied math curriculum. Tapos ito yung isa sa mga sinasabi ng mga estudyante na pinakamahirap. All right? And it is usually taken right before the senior year so that the students have already developed a sort of maturity, mathematical maturity, kasi medyo malalalim gagawin nating discussions sa Math 155. So basically, it is not envisioned to be the first course right after you take your service courses. After the 30 series, hindi sana ito kagad kasi medyo mabigat yung laman ng course. So, but I hope I'm not scaring yung mga diretsong from Math 101 to Math 155. So, yeah, kasi ang idea rito ay merong sudden shift. Sa service courses, sa Math 30 series nyo, masyadong example-driven yung mga discussions, because those courses, those calculus courses, are basically sort of mechanical in nature because the focus is on the house of calculus. Paano mag-differentiate ng isang function? Paano mag-integrate ng isang function? Paano i-apply ang mean value at ang intermediate value theorems and so on. All right. However, in Math 155, as you will see in the course outline later, familiar yung mga topics because these are the topics that you have already encountered before. The only difference is the focus will not be on the hows, but on the whys. Bakit ganito work yung calculus? Bakit ganito tayo nag-i-integrate? Bakit nag-work itong theorem na to? So basically, we will be proving things, but we will go even deeper than that. Hindi lang tayo magpo-prove, pero i-analyze natin sa kadami-daming paraan kung paano pwedeng i-define ang integral ng isang function. Or kung maraming paraan kung paano i-define ang derivative ng isang function, bakit ganito pinili ni Leibniz o ni Newton na i-define ang derivatives at integrals? Bakit kailangan continuous ang isang function para siya ay maging differentiable? Alright? Kasi kapag siya ay hindi continuous, automatic na hindi na siya differentiable. So bakit ganun yung sequence of events? Bakit ganito yung developments ng real number system? So, yun nga, ang focus natin instead ng mga hows ay mga whys. So basically, the discussions will focus more on reading and understanding the definitions, trying to illustrate these definitions, and proving theorems. Okay? So hindi tayo masyado magko-compute, and then ang emphasis ng discussions ko ay dun sa mga concepts. All right? Hindi masyado dun sa mga examples or illustrations because I want to instill to you yung mga concepts. Kasi pag alam niyo na yung mga concepts, you can go to any online resource or get a book, a calculus book, tapos pwede niyo nang tingnan yung mga examples nila doon. All right? But siguro in the first few days or the first few topics, I can give you a couple more examples than I would have preferred. Okay? Sabihan niyo lang ako kung medyo hindi clear yung isang definition o yung application ng isang theorem. Probably I can insert an example or two para medyo mapagaan yung transition. Okay? But yun yung magiging focus natin. And the topics included here would be the theory of real numbers. Okay? So, babalikan natin yung natutunan natin from elementary, yung mga real numbers. Alam na natin yung mga properties ng real numbers. We can add, divide, multiply, or subtract real numbers. We can do fancy operations between them. Alam natin yung mga properties, mga shortcuts. But hindi titingnan natin kung bakit ganun. Bakit nag-work yung real numbers in that nice way. All right? So, kumbaga, no elementary, tinuruan tayong ang 9 times 0 ay 0. Tanggap natin siya. Pero ngayon, titingnan natin, teka, bakit nga ba ang 9 times 0 ay equal kay 0? Hindi naman to pinrove ng teacher ko nung elementary. So, bakit pumayag na ang 9 times 0 ay 0 talaga? So, that's type of thing that na napaka-simple. And we have accepted them as gospel truths when we were young. So bakit siya totoo? Right? Yun yung titingnan natin sa Math 155. And sometimes it's difficult, especially at the beginning, especially if this is your first abstract mathematics course, right? Na i-unlearn yung mga bagay na alam na natin before. Kasi napaka basic ng real numbers. Alam na natin yung mga properties, and there will be times when we are trying to write a proof na gumagamit tayo ng mga concepts na hindi pa natin na-prove, pero alam na natin from training, coming from our elementary mathematics, nagagamit natin siya unintentionally. Or ina-assume natin, or iniisip natin na assume na tong property na to, so pwede ko na siyang gamitin. So yun yung medyo mahirap, especially at the beginning of the course, kasi nga real numbers yung topic natin. Alam na natin yung properties nila. Pero ngayon, ipuprove natin isa-isa itong mga properties na to. Which reminds me of one very important thing in any mathematical discourse, yung meta-axiom of ignorance. The meta-axiom of ignorance tells us that in any mathematical discourse, isang study ng isang mathematical system, we only know what is defined, what are assumed to be true, and what are proven. So yun lang yung tatlong alam natin. So you cannot use anything beyond those three things. All right. What was defined, what was assumed true, and what are the proven facts. Outside of that, we don't know anything. And this is kind of a double-edged sword. Okay. Maganda siya on one hand kasi limited yung options natin. Madaling mag-prove kapag ka limited yung tools na pwede mong gamitin, right? Pwede ka mag-trial and error kung tatlo lang yung assumptions, tatlo lang yung axioms, so tatlo lang yung pamimilian mo kung paano atakihin yung proof. But the other side or the flip side is meron tayo limitado yung mga tools na pwede nating gamitin. Di tayo pwedeng gumamit ng mga results even if we know that they are true if they were not yet proven. And then this is kind of also difficult kasi there would be times na ipoprove ko yung mga basic properties tapos gusto ko ang gagamitin lang natin definitions and axioms. And it is very tempting to use other known results na hindi naman natin na-prove or nabanggit sa klase. Tapos i-assume natin na, hindi, alam na to dapat ni sir. So isasama ko na siya sa proof. So maybe we'll need to tread on that line, so carefully. So tingnan natin as we go along, all right? But I'll try my best to tell you what are the things that you can use, what are the things that you can assume, right? Para medyo clear tayo kung ano yung gagamitin natin sa proof. So imagine this as a slate. Para kayong tabula rasa at the beginning of the course. You know anything unless I told you na alam nyo na to or pwede nyo gamitin yung mga natutunan natin from elementary. Okay? And then once we have established and recreated the real number system, we'll go into the analysis of functions of variable. And our analysis of functions of one variable will revolve around the three key concepts of calculus: limits, derivatives, and integrals. You already know how to compute them. You know all the fancy techniques and all the fancy theorems for them. Pero titingnan natin bakit ganon. And then there are some results that were just stated in the 30 series, okay? Ngayon, ipoprove natin sila. Titingnan natin yung consequences, yung implications nila, and what are the interesting things that we can deduce from these theorems, okay? And as I've mentioned, this is very important because real analysis becomes a very good foundation for functional analysis, harmonic analysis, differential geometry, and I would like to add here optimization theory, probability theory, and other engineering and physics applications. Okay? So yon. Kaya medyo mabigat yung Math 155. Okay? Now, what is the promise? At the end of the course, I envisioned you to be able to discuss the properties of the set of real numbers, okay, and probably discuss the development of real analysis from the set of real numbers. And then you should be able to discuss the theory of limits, derivatives, and integrals. Notice the use of the verb discuss. So talagang wise yung focus natin sa course na to. Hindi tayo masyado magko-compute. Kung magko-compute man tayo, ang dahilan ng pagko-compute natin is to gain an understanding of what is defined or what are the theorems that were given or proven, okay? Pero the key concept here is to understand the why of these processes, okay? And then third, analyze mathematical statements that are of central importance in the theory of real analysis. So we will come across different theorems that are usually named after famous mathematicians, or ito yung may mga pangalan na theorem. They are given special names para sa easy reference because they actually arise in many situations usually in very important situations. Kaya may mga pangalan yan. So we want to analyze them, not just prove them, pero i-analyze natin sila to see their implications, saan siya nanggaling, saan siya papunta, and what are the insights that we can gain from their proofs. Okay? And then of course, it's a math course, so you're expected to be able to prove basic results in real analysis. Pero sabi nga nila, usually real analysis yung may mga pinakamahirap na proofs. Like abstract algebra. Personal ano lang to, personal opinion. Sa abstract algebra kasi once you know the definitions, the previous theorems, and probably you know the algorithms, then The proofs usually are straightforward. You will simply apply those. Every now and then, you'll need some fancy techniques, and that's it. Pero sa real analysis, usually may construction tayong ginagawa. So kung tandaan niyo sa Math36, nag-prove kayo ng limit ng isang function, di ba? So yung proof nyo, magsisimula sa let epsilon be greater than 0. Take delta to be equal to something, say epsilon over 3 or epsilon over 6. Now, to a reader of a proof, it seems that that delta came out of nowhere. Pero alam natin may analysis na nangyari before. So it's kind of a constructive proof in a sense, in the sense that you'll need to create something before you can go ahead with a proof. So meron kang i-construct na delta, or meron kang i-construct na function bago mo masulat yung proof. And usually the creation of those things, all right, usually requires creativity, more thinking before you can write the actual proof. Okay? Pero that pala hindi ko yung sinabi kaagad, no? Baka matakot kayo. But let's try. Let's see how this is done. Okay. Now, in order to give you an idea of how to prove statements in real analysis, I will use two approaches as we go along the lecture notes or the lectures. Number one is that there could be some times where I will just read with you the proofs that are given in the lecture notes. So, yung lecture notes, kung nakita nyo, meron dyan mga results o mga theorems na meron ng mga proofs. So, there are some times that I will just read the proof and then siguro i-highlight ko yung mga important details. I will explain to you sentence by sentence ano yung nangyari. Kung medyo mahirap, i-illustrate natin, i-drawing natin kung ano yung nandun sa proof, right? So this is just to train you on how to read proofs. Kasi sa mga books, ganun naman, di ba? So may existing proofs na, titingnan natin paano niya ginawa to, tapos minsan isusupply natin yung mga missing details so that we understand the proof in its entirety. And I think it is a skill on its own, and it helps us to prove theorems on our own. Okay. And then the second approach is there would be times naman that I will write proofs from scratch. So kung nasusulat yung proof, tapos naisip ko, sige, i-freestyle natin to, I'll write the proof from scratch para kasama kayo dun sa thinking process. So I'll try to prove something spontaneously para kasama kayo dun sa thinking process. And having said that, disclaimer kagad ako, pag spontaneous yung proof, there could be chances na hindi ko alam yung susunod na gagawin, or malulost ako, or hindi ko may isip yung mga susunod na steps. So I encourage you guys to think aloud and think with me, all right? So kung may mga suggestion kayo na stuck ako sa proof, if you have an idea how to proceed, then we can try it out. Okay, kasi nga maganda to. I think by experience this is good. Kasi makikita nyo yung thought process, makakasama kayo sa thought process, at makikita nyo talaga kung paano ako nag-come up with a certain function or a certain number na crucial dun sa proof. Para makita nyo na hindi siya out of the blue. Makikita nyo yung preliminary analysis that is done before the writing of the actual proof. Okay? So those are the course learning outcomes. So as we go along, try to tick this four bullets over here, these 4 items. So pag confident kayo na kaya niyong magawa yung apat na yan, then you're in a good shape for Math 155. Okay? Now, off to course outline. So we have here 5 chapters. Okay? So first chapter, real numbers. We'll be trying to recreate the real number system. Second chapter is sequences of real numbers. I think you were introduced to sequences when you discussed math in Math 38, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, we'll talk about limits and continuity, differentiation of a function of one variable, and then this should be chapter 5. Sorry, nahalata tuloy yung copy paste. This should be integration of a function of one variable. So, by the way, updated ba yung screen share ko, guys? Sa monitor ko ay nandun pa rin ako sa course guide. Nag-next page na ako. So, naka-pause yung screen share. Alright, thank you, Charles. Yeah, pag ganun, medyo, kayo, sabihan niyo ako. Hindi ko kasi alam kung mabagal lang yung internet ng laptop ko kaya hindi ko siya nakikita. Or tapos minsan kasi nakikita, gumagalaw siya sa inyo pero hindi siya gumagalaw sa akin. Pero yeah, hold on. Let me restart my share screen. So hindi lang students ang may unstable internet connection. So yeah, we are on the same boat when it comes to that. Hopefully this works. Super delayed nga siya, no? Hold on, parehas ba ako ng network? Okay, I hope this will be better. Delayed pa rin siya. So, let's see. Hopefully, umayos siya in the next few minutes. But yeah, so if you will scroll on the course outline, okay, makikita nyo ay familiar yung mga terms. Tama ba? So, you know real numbers, siguro yung mga terms, axiom of completeness, consequences, open and perfect sets, open and closed sets, perfect and connected sets, medyo bago sila, right? Hindi natin na-imagine na ganyan komplikado pala yung real number system, right? And then sequences in R, some of them might sound familiar, monotone sequences, limits of sequences and limit theorems, lalo na sa limits and continuity, all right? Continuous functions, derivatives, and integrals. So most of these are familiar. So what we'll try to do is to deepen your understanding of these calculus concepts, and then we'll dig deeper, deeper, and deeper to understand what's the meat behind the computations or the calculations that we learned in math, our Math 30 series. Okay? All right. So hindi ako masyadong magdodwell sa course outline. Kasi at this point, this will just be gibberish to you. So balikan na lang natin siya as we go along. All right. So 5 chapters yung course. And then the mode of delivery, we're still in the remote or online learning environment. So merong schedule akong binigay dito. So we'll try to follow that. I always hold the two synchronous meetings. Fina-follow ko yung class schedule natin. So we meet 2:30 to 4, or on paper the schedule of the class is 2:30 to 4 Tuesdays and Thursdays. Though I understand that in the online setup medyo may flexibility yung schedules, but I will make sure that I am online doing discussions from 2:30 to 4 Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will do what I would have done in a face-to-face setting. Yun nga lang, ang kaharap ko lang dito ay laptop ko. So tapos parang monologue, unless you guys will be noisy enough to participate. All right. So pero yun, gagawin ko siyang discussion. Hindi lang siya consultation ng materials. I'll discuss everything. Okay? Because I don't think I don't think it is very effective that you'll just read things. So mas okay na meron kayong kausap or meron kayong naririnig na nag-explain ng mga topics na nandun sa nandun sa lecture notes. Okay? So everything will be done via Canvas. All the materials are uploaded in Canvas, and then all submissions will also be in Canvas. Okay. Now, attendance to synchronous sessions is not required. Hindi kami pwedeng mag-require according to OVPAA, but it is highly encouraged. All right, because I'll be doing all the talking in here. And in case you cannot attend the synchronous meetings, then don't worry, you won't get penalized. All meetings will be recorded. You'll have several options on how to access the recording. Or if something is not clear and gusto mo siyang balikan later in the day, so you can watch the video recordings on demand. So pwede siyang balikan. Yun yung parang advantage ng mga nag-online. Hindi nyo kailangan masyadong mag-take down notes. Tapos, yeah, pwede nyo balikan anytime yung lecture kung meron kayong na-miss or minsan bumagal si internet, hindi nyo nakita. And then I talked to some students, and one reason that they gave me while nawawala sila in the middle of the semester is that they find watching the videos on their own more helpful or I guess more effective than attending it synchronously for whatever reason. Maybe 2:30 to 4 is a prime time. Marami gumagamit ng internet sa bahay, or you just have different chores that you cannot avoid during the morning. So you go into the wee hours of the day, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Doon yung palang pinapanood yung lectures. Yung iba rin, sabi nila mas effective kasi pwede sila mag-pause, pwede nilang i-times 1 yung i-times uh, 2 yung speed kasi medyo mabagal ako magsalita minsan, lalo na pag hindi ko alam kung nagigets ng mga estudyante ko yung sinasabi ko, so I tend to speak slowly. So yung iba annoyed by that, so they want to speed up the speaking. So tina-times 2 nila, or kung gusto nila mas mabagal or pabalik-balik, so that's why they prefer the asynchronous mode. I don't mind which one is more effective to you. Pero it will be great to have some people attending the live sessions para naman may makausap ako and so on. And just to incentivize those who will be attending online sessions, so usually I ask questions to the class. Pag nagpo-prove ako, tinatanong ko yung ano yung posibleng next step o nasa tingin nyo yung dahilan, bakit nasulat yung step na to sa yung line na to sa proof. I usually ask students to participate. So and then I give tiny bonus points for those who participate. Usually those bonus points earn them from 0.1 to 1% in their final grade. So yung mga nasa bingit ng dalawang numerical grade, diba? Between 1 and 125. So maraming nakauno last semester dahil dun sa recitations. Otherwise, they would have gotten a 125 only. Okay? So I encourage you guys. So if I ask a question, so just push the raise hand button on Teams and then wait to be recognized. And then when you're recognized, you can either unmute yourself and speak, or you can type in the chat box. All right. So para mas okay. Tapos siguro later, matatandaan ko na kung sino usually nagsasagot via chat, saka sino yung verbal kung sumagot. Okay. So I encourage you guys to do that. No deductions for wrong answers. There are no wrong there are wrong answers, but I will not penalize you. I will not humiliate you if your answer is wrong. Feel free. This is a free space. So kung ano yung nasa isip nyo, sabihin nyo, and then I can guide you to the correct answer. Okay? So, ganon. Huwag kayong mahiya. And then if something is not clear, just raise your hand at any time in the discussion. I'll recognize you whenever it is convenient para matanong niyo yung question nyo. Never hesitate to ask a question. Ask it as soon as you have it. All right? Para hindi nyo makalimutan. Tapos kasi pag math, sequential kasi yung mga topics. So, pag hindi mo na-gets yung topic ngayon, chances are hindi mo rin mag-gets yung topic na susunod. So, it's better to clarify everything before we move on to the next topic. All right? And again, don't hesitate to ask questions because for me, there are no dumb questions. All right? There are no simple questions. So even if how simple, stupid, or basic you think your question is, just throw them away, and I'll try to address them the best I can. Kaya bawal yung judgers, so huwag yung i-judge yung mga classmates niya pag nagtatanong. And I don't think students judge their classmates for asking questions like that, especially in a major course. So um, kaya bawal mang judge. So huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong, right? And I usually tell my students, my former students might already know this. I tell them that it's better to look like a fool for a moment. That is the moment that you ask your seemingly stupid or naive question, than to remain a fool forever. So mas okay na bitawan niyo yung tanong niyo ngayon kaysa naman magmukha kayong ewan pagdating na ng problem set. All right? So, and then, do not think that others will judge you. Probably your classmates have the same question, but they are also hesitant to ask it. So kayo na yung maging alay na magtatanong nung sa tingin nyo itanong din nung ibang nasa klase. Alright? So yun. What else? Let's see. Okay, so for those who are joining the classes asynchronously, so magbibigay ako ng weekly study guides. I-upload ko siya dun sa modules page nung Canvas site natin. All right. So the study guide is a short document telling you what pages to follow in a certain week. For instance, for this week, nilagay ko sa study guide 1
ay cover natin ay pages 1 to 9 nung lecture note number 1 or yung lecture notes para sa unit number 1. Okay? So those are for those who are following the class asynchronously. And then siya rin yung magiging goal natin sa synchronous sessions. But I cannot guarantee you that I'll finish everything. So medyo alam na to ng mga dati kong estudyante. Minsan napapasarap ako ng daldal kahit monologue lang ito. Right? So hindi ko masyadong natatapos yung or naaabot yung study guide. So, but I think it's better to take things slowly and then take things slowly but more comprehensively, and we'll dig deeper kesa naman bilisan natin para lang mahabol yung course guide. Okay? So, ganun yung gagawin natin. And then we'll make adjustments as the semester goes along. Okay? And then here are the course materials. As I mentioned, we'll have weekly study guides, and then we have the Math 155 lecture notes. So, nandun na to may access na kayo dun sa Google Drive folder ko, which houses the lecture notes for the 5 units. So you can download them right away. By the way, this is courtesy of Dr. Eduardo Hatulan, who also taught Math 155 last semester. Siya yung teacher ng original section ng 155, pero malaki yata yung demand last semester, so they opened up a new section for those who petitioned the course. And then I was tasked to be the instructor for that additional course. Wala akong time para mag-prepare ng sariling materials, and I think Sir Edu did a very good job of preparing the lecture notes. So I asked him, pwede bang copyhin ko na lang yung lecture notes at yun yung gamitin? And he graciously agreed. So and then throughout the semester, we made some edits. Hopefully na-incorporate ko na siya. Otherwise, i-edit pa natin siya, i-improve natin siya as the semester goes along. But you can download everything right now. So pwede nyo siyang balik-balikan at any given time. So download nyo na siya para hindi na kayo magde-data every time kailangan nyo mag-refer dun sa lecture notes. Okay? Now, let's see. What else is in here? So we have here the study guide. So this is the course timetable. So makikita nyo rin dito ano yung topic for a particular week. And then what is the learning resource? Of course, you will have the lecture notes here. Pero makikita nyo kung saan siya nakasulat. Study guide number 1. And the required submission. And if you will browse through the timetable, almost every week we do have you have something to submit, except on the Holy Week. So dun lang na bakante, right? So you have homeworks, 8 homeworks to submit, and 3 problem sets for the rest of the semester. So expect that every week you need to submit something, all right? So you can read the table as follows. So on the 21st to the 25th of Feb, so that is this week, we'll try to cover ordered fields and the axiom of completeness, all right? Ito yung nakalagay sa study guide number 1. And we will have homework number 1 to test your understanding of some parts of the topics discussed, all right? Dahil yung homework 1, ang covered niya ay yung topics na diniscuss natin sa week number 1, the deadline for homework number 1 would be the succeeding Monday. So homework number 1 will be due on the 28th, right before midnight. So ganun yung magiging pattern ng submission natin. Okay? So any comments about this? So ayan na, deeps na ako, nakapag-latag na ako ng mga requirements. So plan ahead, tingnan nyo na yung mga iba't yung mga course. I know you're taking how many? 4 to 6 classes or even more. So lagay nyo na to sa calendars nyo. So alam nyo na Feb 28 may deadline ng homework 1. March 14 may deadline ng homework 3 sa Math 155. Okay? Just to help you plan your weekly activities. All right, any questions, comments, or violent reactions about that? Talaga? Walang reklamo? I'll take your silence as acceptance. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Clear naman daw, sabi ni Charles. Pero walang mga reklamo? Siyempre, hindi pa kayo ngayon magreklamo, no? So, anyway, so yeah, homeworks. Usually mga 1 or 2 quick problems. So I think this can be done in 1 hour or less. Siguro at most 2 hours yung mga homeworks. So I'll give it every Thursday. So available na siya by Thursday afternoon. Depende kasi kung or or Thursday evening, late evening on Thursday, para alam ko kung ano yung natapos natin for a particular semester. I'll need a couple of hours to think about the homework to give you, okay? But I'll see to it that the homework will be doable in under 2 hours, okay? So, bibigay ko siya ng Thursday late evening. Then you will have Friday to do it. Or kung busy pa rin kayo ng Friday, you can do it on a Monday. Kung medyo nag-work din kayo ng weekends and that's the only time that you're available, you can also do it on Saturday and Sunday. So you will have 4 days para magawa yung homeworks. And these are quick questions, 1 to 2. So ito yung mga typical na parang pop quizzes. Kung face-to-face tayo, ito yung ibibigay ko for 15 or 20 minutes sa face-to-face. Pero dahil online naman, so probably this will be this would be between 0 to 2 hours. Okay? Maiksi lang talaga itong mga homeworks. The problem sets are a different deal. Para siya talaga yung same problem sets as if we are doing face-to-face. 3 to 5 problems. Each problem will require you 1 hour to finish. Okay? So yung mga problem sets, mga 5 oras yung kailangan yung i-schedule para sa kanila. All right? So we can talk about the submission of problem sets later kung ilang araw yung ibibigay ko sa inyo. Probably siguro ilan? Siguro 5 to 7 days. Okay na ba yun sa inyo guys? Problem sets 5 to 7 days. Kasi halimbawa, yung problem set number 1, ang coverage niya ay ang pwede niyang coverage ay ito. From ordered field hanggang limits of a sequence. Or pwede nating isama yung limit theorems kasi alam niyo na naman yan from Math 38. Ibibigay ko yung problem set number 1, posibleng March 14. Tapos nasa inyo na yan for the duration of the week. Tapos ipapasubmit ko siya ng March 21. Okay lang ba yon? Okay, syempre hindi kayo makakareklamo kasi hindi nyo pa nakikita yung sample problem set. But let's see, let's negotiate during the, when the time comes. All right, pag may idea na kayo kung yung itsura ng mga problem sets. Okay? And then when I wrote this syllabus, wala pang memo about the extension of the semester, all right? So kaya kung makita nyo dito, May 25 yung last day of classes, all right? But we have the new approved academic calendar. It will end early June. So may additional na 2 weeks pa tayo. I will not add topics para maging buffer natin yung 2 weeks. So medyo pwede tayo mag-relax ng konti, pagalan yung discussions, or just take those weeks to be days for you to finish your problem set or do a problem set without any any discussion during that week. So yeah, i-leave na lang natin siya as a buffer. Okay? I hope that's fine. All right. Then grading scheme. Homeworks will be worth 30%. Problem sets 60%. And exam would be 10%. Homeworks ay 30%. Meron tayong 8 homeworks. Problem sets 60%. Tatlo yung prob sets, so 20% each. And then may final exam na 10%. The final exam last semester that I gave is simply a reflection paper. I want students to write what are their takeaways from Math 155. I gave them a bunch of guide questions na kailangan nilang sagutan, nothing technical. I just want them to reflect on the course itself, all right? Tapos, yun na yun. Hindi ko na sila masyadong pinahirapan sa finals week, all right? Kasi papahirapan ko na kayo sa problem set, no? Yeah, just joking. Pero yun, yung Math 101 ko at saka Math 174 last semester, medyo technical yung final project nila. But for Math 155, I am inclined to just give reflection papers as final requirement. And anyway, that's 10% of the final grade. Panghatak dun sa prob sets and homeworks. Okay? Any questions, clarifications? Okay, kung wala. And then, yeah, submission of requirements. Now, my only request is that you submit your requirement, or di pala request, my requirement is that you submit these things in a single PDF file. So isang homework, isang PDF file. i-upload nyo siya kay Canvas. Now, may request yung ibang students kung pwede ba na pwede daw sana na typewritten yung homework. Sige, okay lang na typewritten yung homeworks and problem sets. I just want to get your commitment that hindi kayo magko-control A, control C, and control V lang nung assignment o nung problem set nung isa yung classmate. All right. So I'll accept handwritten, computerized homeworks or problem sets kung mas convenient na kayo, mas convenient sa inyo na nagta-type or nagde-latex, so that's okay. Basta i-save niya sa PDF file. If you think handwriting the solutions is easier and more convenient, then you can do so either using a tablet or writing everything on paper and then taking an image of all the pages, saving it as a single PDF file, then that's perfectly fine with me. All right. So yun lang, single PDF file. So kung handwritten yung solution, 10 pages ng papel yung nagamit nyo, so wag naman na isang page, isang picture, save as PDF, i-upload nyo. So si Canvas, isang file lang yung tatanggapin niya. So I suggest you download some apps, halimbawa Adobe Scan or Cam Scanner. Free naman sila sa App Store. So pwede nyo dong picturean yung lahat ng pages and it will automatically save everything into a single PDF file. So yun lang yung tanging requirement ko. Okay? No required formats unless specified. Okay, so bahala na kayo kung paano nyo siya i-format. Okay, just make it legible as possible. All right? Ano pa ba? References. So these are our references. The main one is Abbott, Stephen Abbott. So I think the lecture notes is basically patterned after the discussion of Abbott, understanding analysis. Additional readings can be found from Kaplan's Advanced Calculus and Bruckner's Real Analysis. So ito yung mga tatlong books na pwede niyong hanapin para kung gusto niyong makahanap ng additional examples. All right? But the lecture notes are sufficient. You'll get everything that you need in the lecture notes that were provided in Canvas. So don't worry if you don't have copies of these. Kaya lang siguro from time to time, yung mga homeworks or problem set problems, medyo baka kunin ko sa tatlong books na to or kumuha ako ng inspiration sa mga books na to para dun sa questions. So it would be advantageous if you have copies of these. All right. Speaking of references, I'm not discouraging students from reading other books or from looking online to get inspiration or to get ideas how to answer problems in the homeworks or in the problem sets. That's part of the learning process, I believe. So go ahead. Kung talagang na-stuck kayo, you cannot do it on your own. Try to look for online materials. Just make sure you cite the material. You check for the accuracy of whatever is there, lalo na kung online material yan. Dapat hindi lang kopya ng kopya, tingnan nyo kung tama. Kung hindi ganun kadetalyado yung nakita nyo sa mathexchange.com, then it is your duty to provide all the missing details or all of the missing steps. And it would be a good training. Minsan kasi kailangan lang natin yung spark. Kailangan natin magka-idea paano sagutin yung isang problem. Right? And then, kung talagang hindi mo siya magawa, I suggest you start doing it on your own. Give it a couple of hours. Kung wala kang maisip, mag-Dota ka muna or mag-ML ka muna. And then you go back to doing your homework. All right? Kasi gawain ko yan. Pagka na-stuck ako, mag-Dota muna ako for 1 hour or Pokemon Unite muna for some time or mag-Netflix muna. Saka ako babalik. Kasi kailangan mong ma-refresh para maisip mo yung solution. Pag talagang walang-wala ka ng mapiga, punta ka na online. Ano kaya yung ginawa ng iba when they encountered the same or a similar problem? And then try to understand ano yung ginawa nila. Or silipin mo lang, saan siya nagsimula? Maybe I can supply the missing details or I can supply the remaining steps. That's perfectly fine. I don't look down on students who are doing that. That's part of the learning process. Just make sure to cite your reference and make sure that what you're writing is correct and that you understand it. Okay? I also encourage group discussions. So if you have a circle of friends in the class or in the other class, or if you have your upperclassmen who are eager to help you, then go ahead. You can do discussions. Kahit nga buong klase, gawa kayo ng isang team meeting or isang Zoom meeting. Doon yung diskusyonan yung problem set, yung homework, that's fine with me, all right? As long as, again, you cite sino yung mga nakatulong mo, sino yung mga ka-discussion mo. And number 2 is that my request is you write only what you understood, okay? Or make sure that you understand what you wrote. So pwedeng mauna yung understanding. So susulat mo lang kung ano yung naintindihan mo. Or intindihin mo kung ano yung sinulat mo. Okay? Because problem sets and homeworks for me are not just for grading you. It is another way of teaching you. Okay? Because you have to write a solution on your own or a solution with the aid of your classmates, right? And writing a solution, even if the idea is borrowed from somebody else, I think is learning. So yun yung gusto kong makita. Pero yun nga, i-cite nyo, i-acknowledge nyo kung sino yung mga tumulong sa inyo or sino yung mga naka-discussion nyo. Alright? So if you think it's you will strive in a group learning environment, then go ahead, by all means. Alright? And I think that's about it for the course outline. Any questions? Ang haba ng orientation. 1 hour, no? Kala ko 30 minutes lang tapos na. Kaya alam nyo na kung bakit hindi ko natatapos ang isang study guide. So any questions? Clarification? Violent reaction? Gusto nyo lang magsalita, that's fine. Wala talaga? Ganito ba kayo magiging katahimik sa buong SEM?
Di naman siguro, sir.
Aha, all right. I'm looking forward na mag-participate kayo. Okay, so yeah, you're welcome, Charles. Puti pa si Charles active sa chat box. Yung iba siguro nagne-Netflix na.
Ay, sir,
May
tanong
ano na ba?
pala.
Yeah, go.
Yung chat box ba, is that a general chat for everyone or is that chat to you directly?
It's a chat for everybody. So lahat ng hindi guest, so lahat ng member ng team nakikita yung chat. Alright? Etong meeting chat box Pero pagka dun sa MS Teams, kung meron kayong phone app or meron nasa desktop kayo, meron dong chat for me directly. So pwedeng ganun. Ayun pala, if you have questions, wala pang consultation hours I'm still waiting for my schedule to be finalized. Malay nyo, next meeting din ako yung teacher nyo. So, pag na-finalize na, I'll give you my consultation hours. That's 10 hours of consultation. Take advantage of it. Binabayaran ako ni UP ng 10 hours a week para mag-antay ng mga estudyante na magtatanong. So, take advantage of it. Now, questions, pwede nyong ipadala. Kung di nyo magawa during the meeting, you can send me an email. Kaya lang sabi ng ibang estudyante, medyo toxic daw mag-write ng email. Check pa yung grammar, check pa yung tamang parts ng email. At least for me, I don't care too much about the niceties and the formalities. So pwedeng informal email, that's fine with me, that's great. Para pwede ko ring sagutin kayo ng maiksi lang, alright? Or better yet, you can send me a chat via MS Teams. So wag lang sa Messenger, pero yung MS Teams naman nakasave siya sa phone ko. So pag nag-chat kayo sa akin sa MS Teams, I can see it on my phone. So I'll try to respond as soon as I can, right? So mas madali at saka mas informal siguro yung chat, okay? Sa MS Teams, okay? So yeah, pwede niyo siyang gawin. Okay, so other questions? Sige, pag wala nang tanong, mag-start na ako ng chapter 1. Kasi meron pang 20 minutes para sa class or 19 minutes. Pero napagod na ako, ang dami ko na nasabi. Medyo papahabaan ko sana para hindi na ako mag-discuss. Kaya lang, yung kabilang section kanina, naubusan na sila ng tanong or naubusan na ako ng adlib. So nag-start na ako ng discussion. So let me catch my breath for probably 1 minute bago tayo mag-start in chapter 1. Sayang kasi yung oras. By the way, meron na bang meron ng AOT sa Netflix ba? Latest app? Or wala pa? Or talagang off na kayo sa mga ganung bagay? ACAD mode na kayo starting yesterday?
Netflix pa din po, sir.
Meron na ba last episode? Inaabangan ko kagabi pa eh. Pero, yeah. Okay, so wala daw Netflix. That might be good for you kasi ang dami ko ring nasasayang na oras sa Netflix. So anyway, manga, hindi ako nagmanga ng AOT eh. One Piece lang ang minamanga ko so far. So yeah, anime only ako sa AOT. All right, so yeah, back to business. Tapos na yung recess. Punta tayo sa chapter 1. So you can see the materials for chapter 1 as lecture note number 1 or unit 1 lecture notes in the Google Drive shared via a link in our Canvas page. Let's see. It will cover chapter 1, okay? And it's all about the real numbers. So we will be trying in this unit, we'll be trying to rediscover the properties of the set of real numbers together with the operations defined on it, basically addition and multiplication. And we will see what is special about the set of real numbers compared to any of its subsets. Okay? Kaya lang dito magsisimula yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina na medyo may a little bit of a confusion or awkwardness because we will try to relearn everything that we already know. Or basically, bago tayo makapag-relearn, kailangan muna nating i-unlearn lahat ng mga natutunan natin about real numbers. Okay? Because we'll be starting the axiomatization of real numbers or the real number system from scratch. Okay? Remember, sa isang axiomatic system, nagsisimula yan lagi sa undefined terms. Okay? Usually ito yung objects of interest. Now, in this unit, our objects of interest would be the real numbers. So i-assume natin meron tayong mga real numbers. So isang set siya ng mga numbers. Alright? Kaya lang, di pa natin alam yung itsura, yung structure ng mga numbers na to. So we'll just keep on referring to the real numbers as real numbers without giving any concrete meaning to it. Okay? So kaya medyo awkward or medyo parang hindi siya natural, ano? Kasi nga abstract yung study natin. Meaning, these are not tangible things. We do not have representations for them yet. Alam lang natin, meron tayong set of numbers. Ang tawag natin sa kanila ay real numbers. Ibibigay natin later ano yung mga properties nung set na to. Alright? At titingnan natin ano yung mga properties na pwede nating idikit dito sa set of numbers na to, which coincides with the things that we already learned before. But again, I will ask you to empty your minds about real numbers. Wala kayong alam. Okay, kahit ano, muna. Unang malalaman nyo ay yung real numbers. Isipin nyo may set of real numbers. Tatawagin natin siyang real numbers kahit hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung itsura ng mga number na ito. Okay? And then second, sa axiomatic system, aside from the undefined terms, we will have the axioms. The axioms are these are statements about the undefined terms that are assumed to be true, either for the sake of what is to follow or that these facts are very natural. These are self-evident truths. So yung mga axioms, mga statements lang siya na hindi kailangan ng proof. Kasi ito yung mga na-observe natin na properties ng mga undefined terms. So they will not need any proof, okay? Ina-assume natin siya ay totoo. So titingnan natin ano yung mga axioms na ididikit natin sa real numbers kasi nga ang real numbers hindi natin alam so far o ngayon after we unlearned everything that we know. All right, hindi natin alam yung mga itsura at mga properties nila. So isa-isa nating ibibigay ano yung mga properties na dapat ma-possess nung set of real numbers. Okay? Tapos makikita natin later paunti-unti na re-reconstruct na natin yung set of real numbers na natutunan natin nung grade 1 o grade 2 tayo. Okay? Now, ito yung content ng course. There are 9 content ng unit. There are 9 sections to it. And let's start doing section 1. We look at the algebraic axioms. Okay? So again, sa real number system, meron na tayong undefined terms. Ito yung mga real numbers, but we don't know how they look like, what are their properties, okay? Now, dagdagan natin yung alam na natin, yung assume natin alam nyo na. we'll assume that there are two binary operations on these numbers. So pag kumuha ka ng dalawang real number, pwede natin silang i-subject sa dalawang operations, addition and multiplication. Okay? And these two operations are binary in nature, meaning they always work with two and only two real numbers. So kukuha ka ng dalawang real numbers, pwede mo silang ipag-add. Kumuha ka ng dalawang real numbers, pwede mo silang i-multiply. These two operations are binary, so we can only operate on two real numbers at a given time. But again, for now, we don't know how addition works. We don't know how multiplication works. Sinabi lang na itong dalawang to ay binary operations. Na pag kumuha ko ng dalawang real number, in-undergo ko sila ng addition, I'll get another real number back. I don't know how the process is to be carried out. I just know that when I add two real numbers, I'll get another real number. And the same thing goes for multiplication. Two numbers, multiply them together, we'll get another real number. But how is the multiplication supposed to be done? We don't know. Kasi nga, kinalimutan natin yung natutunan nating addition and multiplication nung elementary tayo. Okay? So, okay ba so far? So, yun yung undefined terms natin. Medyo weird, pero accept it for now. Okay? Tapos ngayon, titingnan natin, ano yung mga properties that is assumed to be true for these two so-called addition and multiplication? Okay? Sila yung axioms 1 to 9. And they are usually called the algebraic axioms for the set of real numbers. So in this case, yung mga axioms, ang label natin sa kanila ay A tapos yung axiom number. You can refer to these axioms by their label or by using their names. So it doesn't matter, but I usually prefer you guys to call it by their names. Kasi para hindi nyo kailangan sa uluhin yung mga numbers. Okay? But from time to time, sometimes gamitin din natin yung numbers. Now, what are the assumed properties? Again, these are axioms. So these are already assumed to be true for real numbers. So titingnan natin, ano yung mga properties ng addition? And the striking thing about that is, alam na natin yung property na mapopossess ng addition at multiplication even if we don't know how to perform them. All right? So basically, parang sila yung naging requirement. Sila yung mga properties na dapat masatisfy ng operation na tatawagin mong addition. Sila yung mga properties na dapat masatisfy ng isang operation na tatawagin mong multiplication. And it's the other way around kesa dun sa natutunan natin ng elementary. Sa elementary kasi, tinuruan tayo paano mag-add at mag-multiply. Tapos saka natin dinuduce yung mga properties ng addition and multiplication. But in any axiomatic development, we always start with axioms. And here our axiom would be the properties of the real number system under addition and multiplication. And remember, the real number system, addition and multiplication are undefined terms in our axiomatic system. Okay, there's no point of learning how to add or multiply at this point because they are really undefined terms. Okay? Now, ano yung mga requirements para matawag na ang isang operation ay addition? That addition, however it is carried out, should satisfy first these four axioms. Okay? Axiom 1, commutativity. The ordering of the operands under addition should not matter. That means A plus B should be the same as B plus A, where A and B are any real numbers. So alam natin ang 1 plus 2 ay equals to 2 plus 1 from elementary. But I cannot use that as an illustration here because I don't know what is 2. Hindi ko pa alam kung ano yung number 2. All right? So, hindi natin define ano yung mga real numbers. But we know that addition should be commutative. All right? Axiom 2 is associativity. The ordering under addition is not important. Okay? So, why do we need to order things, or we need to order the operands in this particular case? Because in this case, we're dealing with three numbers. And remember that addition is a binary operation. We can only add two numbers at a given time. So that means if I want to add A, B, and C, I need to decide first which two to add first. And whatever the answer will be a real number, a single real number, and that's what I will operate with the remaining number. So yun yung ginawa ng left side. Sa left side, in-add niya muna si A at saka si B. All right? And this so addition is well defined because I have two real numbers A and B. and the result is a single real number. So this guy is a single entity. And then now I can add C, which is another single entity. But the associative property of addition tells us na kung magde-define ka ng addition, dapat associative siya. All right? So that means you can decide to combine B and C first before adding that single result into A. Yun yung associativity. So, parang pihirap ko, no? Nung elementary, alam natin yan. Pero ngayon, inisa-isa natin sila. But I hope you get the abstraction of it, all right? So you are starting to get the hang of it. Axiom 3, there is an additive identity. When we say additive identity, there should be a number, a real number that will act as an additive identity, meaning there should be a number when added to another real number will give me back that real number. Merong isang real number dapat na pag inad ko sa kahit anong real number, hindi nababago yung identity nung real number na yon. Mathematically, we express that using this equation. If I add if I add A to 0, or the other way around, I add 0 to A, the value of A is preserved. Okay? Now, here we meet our first real number. Si 0 yung unang real number na nakilala natin. And then the only thing that we know, 0 is an arbitrary symbol. All right? So, tinawag lang natin siyang 0 as the additive identity. But we know now that the symbol 0 will be reserved for the additive identity. If I add 0 to any real number, either to the left or to the right, I will get the real number back. So, hindi nababago yung value ng real number A. Axiom number 4, there should exist an additive inverse. When we say additive inverse of a number A, that is the number that should be added to A to get the additive identity back. Kaya siya tinawag na additive inverse. Paano kung maibabalik si A papunta sa identity, right? So that means there should be exactly one real number A denoted by negative A, all right? Na pag inad ko kay A, all right, either to the left or to the right, makukuha ko yung additive identity. So yun yung requirements sa additive inverse. Siya yung pang-add kay A para makuha mo yung additive identity. But we already gave the additive identity a name or a symbol. Tinawag natin siyang 0. So ano dapat yung idagdag kay A, either to the left or to the right, to get 0. Okay? Then I hope you will not confuse negative A dun sa number na negative A. Remember, we don't have any notion of negative numbers. Alam lang natin may real numbers, hindi natin alam yung itsura nila, okay? Pero may alam na pala tayong isang real number, si 0, yung additive identity. Now, if you see minus A or negative A, at least for now, it might be better to read this as the additive inverse of A. It's not negative A in the usual sense that we know. This is another notation for the additive inverse of A. What should be added to A to get the 0 back? All right? So, sana clear yon. Ito ay additive inverse ni A. Kasi so far, hindi nga natin alam ano yung symbols para sa real numbers. Okay? And now, the properties for multiplication almost mirrors exactly kung ano yung properties ng addition, except for a little caveat. Tingnan natin yung A5, commutativity of multiplication. However you decide to carry out multiplication, it should be commutative. Kasi gusto nating masatisfy yung axiom 5. And then the ordering should also not matter in taking the product, all right? So kasi nga, kailangan natin yung associative axiom for multiplication. And then similar to the existence of additive identity, there is another real number that serves as multiplicative identity, meaning there is a number that when multiplied either to the left or to the right of another real number, we will get that real number back, all right? And we will call that symbol, or we will call that multiplicative identity as 1, okay? Si 1, siya yung gagamitin nating symbol para dun sa real number na nag-act as multiplicative identity. Again, multiplicative identity, dapat na preserve yung identity ng isang real number or ng kahit anong real number pag na-multiply ng 1. Okay? So that means 1 times 1 ay equal kay 1 times A equal siya kay A. And then A8 is the existence of a multiplicative inverse. Okay, so again, dahil inverse siya under multiplication, ano dapat yung i-multiply ko kay A para makuha yung multiplicative identity? Luckily, we have called the multiplicative identity 1. So ano dapat yung pang-multiply ko kay A, either to the left or to the right, para makuha si 1. Okay? And we will denote that number as A to the negative 1. Okay? And again, please forget about exponents for now kasi hindi pa natin na-discuss yung exponents. So yung A to the negative 1, another symbol for this guy is 1 over A. Ito, hindi naman to fraction. Symbol lang natin siya. Notation lang natin siya para sa multiplicative inverse ni A. Ano yung multiplicative inverse? Siya yung kailangan mong i-multiply kay A para makuha si 1. But the difference between A4 and A8 is that A8 doesn't apply for all real numbers. Hindi lahat ng real numbers ay may unique multiplicative inverse. In particular, 0, actually specifically, 0 doesn't have a multiplicative inverse. All right? So siya lang, yung wala kang makikitang number na pag minultiply mo kay 0, ang sagot ay equal kay 1. All right? And then we have remark 1.1, another symbol for A times B, kasi minsan gagamitin natin yung letter X for a variable. So we just either concatenate A and B together, or we put a central dot between A and B to denote the multiplication, right? And then come in A9, the last algebraic axiom. Ito naman yung distributivity of multiplication over addition, okay? So if you're taking the product of A times the sum of B plus C, then you can compute it in another way and you'll get the same number. It's A times B plus A times C. Okay? And then, sino dito nag 111 na? Can I see a show of hands? Sino yung tapos na ng 111? Medyo ano sila dito? Medyo may advantage sila. Dapat nag 111. So yeah, that's great. Everything is on, everyone is on the same level. So kasi sa math 111, i-discuss nila to as the field actions. So they will conclude that R together with addition and multiplication is a field. So, and then they will be looking at arbitrary types of fields or examples of fields. Pero yeah, ang tawag dito ay field actions or the field properties of the set of real numbers. Kasi ang set of real numbers, since it satisfies axiom 1 to 9, right? It is considered a field or an algebraic field. But yeah, those are just terminologies, and maybe I can stop here. Tapusin ko na lang itong equality property para saktong 1.2 tayo next time, right? Equality property, mabilis lang. These are another set of self-evident truths. You can list them as axioms, right? But Aristotle considered it, is it Aristotle or was it Euclid? Hindi ko matandaan kung sino sa kanilang dalawa. Parang tiningnan niya to as the fundamental truths. These are self-evident truths, not just as axioms, pero parang encompassing assumption siya sa lahat ng klase ng mathematical or philosophical discourse. Kaya yung ibang tawag dito ay postulates, yung ibang tawag ay meta-axioms, but we can consider them as axioms, all right? We will assume them to be true. Number 1 tells us that a number is equal to itself. That's the reflexive property, okay? Number 2, if a number is equal to another number, pwede mong pagbaliktarin yung place nila sa equal sign. So A equals B is the same as B equals A. And then equality is transitive, meaning if you have two numbers that are equal to the same thing, then those two numbers must also be equal to each other. So dito si A ay equal kay B, tapos si C equal din kay B. Parehas silang equal kay B, so dapat si A ay equal din kay C. So you see why these are self-evident truths. Napakasimple nila. All right, so parang common sense or parang natural na sa atin na isipin na sila ay totoo. And then property 4 and 5 are sort of properties involving addition and multiplication. So yung number 4 siya ay APE, addition property of equality, na pag meron kang number na dalawang numbers na equal sa isa't isa, then if you add another real number, any real number, to those two numbers, then the results are still equal to each other. Okay? And similarly for multiplication. If A and B are equal to each other, and you multiply A and B to the same real number, say C, then the products are still equal to each other. Okay? And these are not new to us, so alam na natin sila since elementary. Okay, so A1 to A9 are called the algebraic axioms or the field axioms for the set of real numbers. We'll take a look at their consequences and prove basically our first few theorems next meeting. So nandun siya under sa section 1.2. Pero for now, we'll stop here. Maybe it's too much information for a single sitting. Ay, hindi naman pala kasi nag-start lang tayo ng 3:30 mag-discuss. So just a quick jump start for our discussion for the semester. So ngayon, pwede nyo na uling ibalik sa mga utak nyo yung real numbers. Tapos kakalimutan na lang natin siya uli when we go back 2:30 on Thursday. All right? So any questions or clarifications, guys? Masyado bang mabilis yung discussion? Medyo tinry ko siyang bilisan para mahabol yung kabilang section kasi mas maaga ako natapos mag-orientation sa kanila para at least medyo sabay. Pero yeah, okay. That's good to hear, Gian. How about the others? So pag medyo mabilis or masyadong mabagal yung discussion ko, sabihan niyo ako and I will adjust. So, okay. So if there are no questions, all right. So I think that's it. Let's call it a day there. So thank you for coming, guys. I hope you have a good day. Enjoy the rest of the day. And let's see each other again on Thursday. So until then, stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you po.
Thank you
All
po.
right.
Thank you